Hey kids, I know I've been a while for a bit. Man, you can really tell. I know I've been away for a bit, but my Twitter friend Charlie was looking for some advice on uni and homesickness, so I thought I'd just make a video because I'm that self-centered that the best advice you can get is truly straight from me. The first thing I'm going to talk about is settling in and like your first day. This is going to probably be one of the most surreal days of your entire life, as the whole of your first year is going to be, especially if you're living in halls, because it's the weirdest experience, but it's really good. When you arrive at your flat, it's going to be a very blank canvas, really. That's a good way of thinking of it, rather than a new kind of scary place that you haven't spent a lot of time at before. The best thing you can do is unpack homely things straight away and make your room look a bit less bare and kind of like you're a one of the things I kind of struggled with was the idea that I was quite small and I was just one out of everybody who was moving into a new room and one of the people who have lived in that exact same room over the different years, and something about that made me feel quite small and insignificant. But you've got to fill a room with all your stuff and make it your own, and remember that the fact that you're one of many is really cool and not something that should make you a bit sad. Settling was really strange because I was the first person in my flat to move in because I had the first time slot. Only 4 people arrived on actual moving day in my flat, so a really good thing we had was a building group chat. I know that some universities have absolutely massive blocks of like flats and stuff and you could never have a group chat with everyone in it. My accommodation block was quite small, so we had a group chat for 6 flats of 6, which meant there was only 36 of us, and obviously not everyone was in it, but it meant that we had this really tight little community to start with, and you weren't going just on your flat but also the flats upstairs, downstairs and across, and it meant that we actually went for a night out with our building, which was really good because you got to know people that you really do see very often, and it means that it kind of breaks the ice already, and it meant that when there was a pre-drinks in the building everyone knew about it because we had this lovely little community that we could kind of just like talk to and chat with. This is also quite good for later down the road when, you know, you haven't got enough bin bags and you decide to ask the other flats if they had too many, and if you need, you know, help getting into the building and stuff. Like, it's really useful to have that little chat. So, I don't know, the collection, if you have loads of flats, maybe like your block of them, or like maybe the ones that are above you and below you, if you have a little chat with that, it means that it kind of grows your community just from like 1 or 2 flats to like many, and you know, that gives the potential of lots of new friends and new faces, and little like flat parties is kind of how people meet. The first day also means that you're going to be meeting so many people, so get ready to have to say your course and where you're from, or in my case, say your course many times, but also make it a fun little game to say it as quickly as you can. Oh hey, what are you studying? Oh, I'm doing geography, what about you? Graphic design and multimedia with media and culture. Cool! It also means you're going to have to describe where you live, and if you live somewhere really small, get ready to just widen your boundaries until you're just going, oh, it's a little town. It's near a city? It's near a bigger city. But this leads to really cute bonding moments when someone's like, I'm on that course, or I know where that is, and you're like, you know where that is? And it's honestly how I've got two of my friends are just from knowing where I live. No, the first night I would totally recommend going food shopping with your flat, or maybe getting some food from the freshers, maybe getting a takeaway if you don't want to cook on the first night, but I would definitely recommend going out on the first night if you can find a little group or a party or something, because it means that there's a big group of you and you all kind of go and you find out more about the city, and you're like, I have no idea where I am, and this is scary but exciting and it's so fun, and I would really recommend going out. But obviously everyone's tired, but I think doing that little push and going out helps you make bonds straight away. Weirdly, I think there is a chance you make friends in Freshers Week who you barely speak to for the rest of the year. I was quite lucky because my, you know, flats around me were going out and had a little thing, but I know a lot of people who had friends in Freshers Week and you just never speak to them again. You'll just never see them. So really in the second week, this was the really important part, in the second week you have to follow up with the people you've met and maybe added on Facebook or Snapchat. You have to follow up with them because otherwise they just get lost. And then just like a year later, you've just been accidentally stalking this girl on her social media and you're just really invested in her life. And I'm sorry, I have her on Facebook and Snapchat, she knows my age, I'm accidentally stalking someone. I'm too emotionally attached to her now. When you're out meeting people, one of the best ways is to do it on Facebook, because it means the next day you get that little notification saying they accepted your friend request, and you can like send them a message and just be like, hey, I met you, wanna hang out, if you liked them. And I think that was really important in solidifying friendships with people that are just around campus and not just in your vicinity or people you're going to see all the time. When it comes to your course, you might not actually know anyone on it until maybe you found the group chat accidentally by meeting someone who's also on your course while walking to a club at like 1 AM in the morning. But you know, eventually you might get added to that group chat and you'll be in a little close circle of friends, and you'll make friends with people by giving them hand cream in your lectures. And when you think back to how you made your friends, you're going to be so confused at how that happened and why, but you'll be so glad of them. Next, I'm going to move on to homesickness. Now, you may be like, I'll be fine, I can't wait to leave, but you're going to experience some homesickness of like even a little or a lot. And basically you have to be ready for it, and there are loads of ways you can cope with it, and it's gonna be okay. But if you cry with your flatmates on like the second day, that's also fine. If you go through a strange life altering Freshers Week is wild. Everyone experiences homesickness. The way I got around it is I phoned my friends, I called my parents, and I FaceTimed a lot of people, because the weird thing about university that I didn't know why I didn't realise, but friendships build over time, so you're not gonna have like a solid group of people probably for about a month and a half, maybe longer, maybe not until like after Christmas. But it's really strange, but you'll get one eventually and you'll make friends, but it really takes a bit of time. So that little period, maybe when you first started, I think you can experience a little bit of loneliness, and the best thing to do there, either talk to your new friends about it, maybe like they'll share how they feel, but I coped by calling my old friends, because you don't have the same bond with your new friends, you don't know what they're like, and it's quite hard to open up and stuff. So just FaceTiming your friends, it's really cool if they're also at university, because they can be like, I know this person, they'll tell you funny stories, you can tell them yours, and it's just really nice to see like their experience and your experience, and all of you are kind of in it together, even though you can be like tens of miles apart. 100? Is one of my friends 100 miles away from me? My friend who struggles with homesickness more than me, it's recommended that you distract yourselves with other activities. If you're new friends, there's always societies, there's Freshers Week will be great. Get a wristband, go to as many things as you want to, and as many things as you can, but also there's no shame in taking a night to just stay at home, kind of gather yourself, get used to where you are, and unpack, and just have, you know, a quiet night. Maybe you watch some Netflix, because it just feels homely. Like, there's no shame in doing that, and if you want to do that for the majority of freshers, then go for it. I spent the whole of Sunday night unpacking and just going, what is happening? Like, if you think about it, what is happening? Because it is one of the most surreal and crazy experiences I think you'll ever have, is moving out. With transitioning, basically you have to just remember that everyone is feeling the same way pretty much. Everyone is trying to keep it cool and being like, oh, I can do this, I'm doing great. Everyone will be like, is uni good? And you'll be like, it's great. But inside you can be like, I lived in my family home for 15 years and now I'm in a completely different city. All the people that loved me are gone, and I live with complete strangers. Uni is crazy, but it's also really fun, and you just have to kind of throw yourself into it, know that everyone is nervous, but that it's gonna be fine and that you're gonna get through it. Like, I think it's quite common to consider dropping out. I think probably like the first or second week I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but it's because you haven't built up these support networks. So you have to kind of rely on the ones you still have, maybe online. You can always hit up your internet friends, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber. But also, it's one of the easiest places to make friends is university. Like, join some societies. Don't have evening classes and a job all the time. What I'm really saying with this segment is that the transition is really crazy, and that's okay. You'll get through it. The next bit I've entitled Scary Adult Things, so let's go right into them. First off, I've written laundry, because this one is strangely intimidating, because you're like, maybe you know how to use your laundry thing at home, but the best thing is to throw yourself into the stupid laundry systems that universities have. You'll probably have Circuit Laundry, which is a stupid app or a stupid card. and you can get ready to be charged too much. University, everybody. Seriously though, why didn't we vote Jeremy Corbyn? What were we thinking? The best thing I think to do with laundry is, obviously you don't have to do it on like the 1st or 2nd. You can like delay it like 2 weeks because you've got all your clothes and all the stuff you bought, and it can just be so tempting to just not deal with it. You can always do what I did and just find the most responsible person that you've met so far and ask them how to help you with laundry, and the moment you do it, you're like, oh, this was easier than I thought it was going to be, and your life is set. You can now have clean clothes and bedding. Food shopping is different for everyone. Lots of families will take you to go and get a food shop and then come back. But the best thing I did was you go to Maps and then you can see all the food places that are near you, and going for a walk to your food shop with like your flat or, you know, another person maybe who's on your course that you've talked to online before, just go in and get in some of your basics, you know, some pasta sauces, milk. Not milk if you're the majority of my flat from last year. Do a food shop, get it over and done with. Don't be worried about cooking, throw yourself into it. The sooner you do these things, the better. Like, don't get ready meals and takeaways. Like, learn to cook. You can get recipes online with your terrible uni Wi-Fi, but it will be okay and you'll do it. One of the struggles I actually had was cooking and eating enough food. I think when you're so used to maybe having like a big meal that like your family have cooked for you, like it's very easy to kind of slip out of that, especially if maybe you're only cooking for one because of like the timetables you have with your flat, because it's quite easy at the beginning to cook and eat meals with your flat. It is quite nice, but my flat just did not have that option because we just never found a time, or we didn't want to eat at the same time, or we didn't like the same food. But that's still okay, but you have to try really hard to make sure you are eating enough, you're eating good food, you know, get fruit and vegetables, you know, eat good food, don't be afraid to treat yourself, and also enjoy the luxury of being able to eat 4 chocolate bars in a row and no one tell you anything else, because it's just you, and that's the beauty of independence. Now let's talk about budgeting and money. This was one of my worst stresses really throughout the year, was budgeting. It took me until like April to even work out how budgeting worked. I really want to recommend an app called Spendy. It's simple. You just put it on your phone and then you just put whatever you spent into it. Because it's on your phone, you don't have to remember to keep your receipts or whatever, because you can just do it really quickly while you're out or whatever, and you can just do it and it's gone, and then you can like check how much money you're spending so you have enough money and you don't have to live off like rice cakes for like 2 weeks. I said that like I did that. I didn't do that. It's also good to maybe like take it out in cash. I don't know how you want to work, but like lots of ways you can budget. Some of them is taking out the cash that's in your budget and not spending anything else on card. One of the ways is to maybe have a separate account and then move the money you want to actually use into that account for that time, and then you can like visually see how much money you have. Using PayPal and stuff is good so your friends can pay you back. Overall budgeting, you're going to be okay no matter what your loan, no matter how you're getting your income. It will be fine. You may think that like, oh no, how am I going to do it? But you have to remember how many students there are across the country who are doing this as well. It's okay. The system works. Student finance is the worst though. Get ready for that sweet interest. 6.1% now. Next I was going to talk about part-time jobs a little bit, because I have one. I don't get the full loan, so I have a part-time job to kind of, you know, keep me going and also give me something to do, get a little bit of money that I can save and stuff. Having a part-time job is completely feasible, and it's all based on how your uni works. Like, some unis have really intense courses, but some, you know, more coursework based, so maybe you have a bit more time, like me. So I have a part-time job. It's mainly because I can transfer to my hometown and my uni town, but that's really cool. So if you can do that, I would recommend it. Most jobs are going to be in retail. Obviously supermarkets are great because they open in the evening, but having a part-time job is completely feasible, even if it's just 2 nights a week, maybe just 1 long shift on a weekend. But having that little bit of income, being able to save it or spend a bit more and just generally not be like that student life is quite nice. It also means you see other people that aren't students, and maybe you'll work with 2nd and 3rd years and they can tell you all sorts of things, like their funny stories and things about housing and where to live and who, like good housing estate agent people, and also good bars and clubs. Also means you might be working with some, you know, adults, or interacting with some adults and people who just aren't students and out of your bubble, and I think that's really important, as well as like working for money as just a general skill. And it also helps, you know, top up that budget when you spend too much money in spoons. Don't get the spoons up. It will wreck your bank account. I didn't even sugarcoat this. I wrote down as one of my bullet points, you may have a breakdown / cry. And this is just because I think that that's something every fresher needs to know. It sounds so horrible, like you're gonna have the worst time, but it's a very intense experience and it's scary. You might cry. You might cry in front of your flat. You might have to cry with one of your flatmates. You might cry in your room. You might cry on FaceTime. You might cry down the phone. You might cry and have a little bit of a breakdown because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing and I have all these new responsibilities. It might take you until second semester to do that, but still, it's okay. And I didn't want to sugarcoat it, but I also didn't want it to sound scary. You might have a breakdown, but that's okay, kids, because I think most students can relate to the fact the whole experience is quite intense. But you're going to get through it, and you'll be a better person because of it. You're learning and you're growing as a person and you're maturing into adulthood or whatever, but it's okay. And that's the important thing. I was going to add a little bit about organisation, but I feel like this video is quite long already. So if you do want to see that, just leave a comment in the comments. Genius. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It made you smile and it may have helped you in some way, especially if you're a uni fresher. Just remember that you'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And if you want to, you know, hit me up on Twitter, Helen_Townsend_, please do. If you want to see more of my vids, more of my face, you can always subscribble, and I will see you. Yeah, I'll see you.